All right. Hello, everybody. All right, we think we're live now. Hi, my name is Emily Hoffmiller. I'm a financial aid manager here at Michigan Tech University. I have off-screen Allie as well from admissions. We're going to talk about some financial aid today. This presentation is being recorded, so you don't have to write notes too furiously, because you can always click back on the website and take a look at it. We do have a group chat box you can ask questions to. Hopefully we can grab those as we're going, otherwise we'll address any questions you have at the very end. All right, so we're going to talk about some financial aid. So first of all, why you should come to Michigan Tech. So it's a great investment into your future. We have really high starting salaries, average around $63,000 for our students. So you're definitely going to get your money's worth. So you might have to put money in, like financial aid. We'll talk about your options for funding your education, but then when you come out, you'll be in a good place. So we have 92% placement rate. Odds of you getting a job are exceptional. We have great career fairs on campus. Our Career Services Center is spectacular. So definitely, if you come here, hopefully you'll be able to get one of those placements after school. So different types of aid that are available. So we have merit-based and need-based. Some aid will consider both, but we're just going to separate the two into different categories right now. So merit-based is based mostly on the student's academic talent, their athletic ability, their involvement, maybe in their community, different things like that. So things that don't have to do with their family's financial status. Need-based aid is more about your parents and your income and assets, different things like that. We'll talk about the FAFSA a little bit, the free application for federal student aid. So that's how you can become eligible for any of those need-based aid that we have. So we're going to talk about the FAFSA right now. So the free application for federal student aid, it's open right now if you're planning on coming to school with us for the 2019 to 2020 school year. It opened up on October 1st. Every year it will open in October, and you'll fill it out. It is an annual thing that you'll want to fill out every year. The first step is creating that FSA ID. This is basically your login, your username, and your password to get into the FAFSA. Make sure that you write it down because you'll be using that in the future when you're refiling the FAFSA yearly, as well as when you're looking at your loans. If you've taken out federal loans, you'll need your FSA ID to take a look at that. So it's on FAFSA.gov. Make sure you go to that website. It is free to fill out, so make sure that you're not paying for anything. And most universities can help you with that if you give our office a call and you have questions on filling it out. There's a lot of good resources online, but if you just want to call and ask us, I can definitely help you with your questions. The IRS data retrieval tool is a great option to use when you're filling out the FAFSA. It can basically pull in a lot of your tax and income information from the IRS directly. It's verified information, so we don't have to take a look and double check all of that. Really, it'll just help you basically skip a lot of the FAFSA because it'll automatically fill in for you. So I definitely recommend using that IRS data retrieval tool if you can. If it doesn't work for you, if maybe your situation has changed and maybe you were married back then and you're not now or something like that, you can just manually fill in the FAFSA information. Remember that the Michigan deadline is March 1st, so that's kind of the priority funding deadline. If you're eligible for the Michigan Competitive, you'll definitely want to complete it by March 1st. If you complete it after March 1st, you'll likely still get some aid, but you won't be opening up as many doors as possible. All right, so need-based financial aid. So from filling out that FAFSA, it opens up the door to any need-based aid that you might be eligible for. So some of these you'll find out right away if you're eligible for them. Other ones you'll have to wait to hear from the university. So the Pell Grant is one that right after you file the FAFSA, it'll tell you whether you're eligible for this. So this is basically, it's a scholarship, so it's free money that you'll get from the government just based on your parents and your financial situation. Work study is also a financial need-based program. That when you fill out the FAFSA, it might say if you're eligible, but you won't know if you were actually awarded it until you get that financial aid award letter from us. It should say federal work study on there. It'll show on your financial aid package as kind of similar to a scholarship, but really you get paid for the hours that you work. So it's kind of a guaranteed employment on campus that we can help you find. If you don't see work study on your financial aid award letter and you're really interested in maybe participating in the program, just give our office a call and we can put you on the waiting list, and then we kind of go off the waiting list after the semester has started. The Michigan Competitive Scholarship is both need-based and merit-based. That one, make sure you file your FAFSA by March 1st. The University Student Award is a Michigan Tech specific scholarship. That one is also based off of both merit and financial need. You'll want to make sure that you file your FAFSA early so you can hear from us about any options for the University Student Award. It is renewable as long as you keep refiling the FAFSA and you have a similar financial situation. So some different merit-based aid now. So these ones that you don't have to fill out the FAFSA for, it's obviously still recommended, but it's not required for these scholarships. So for our Michigan residents, we have our Presidential Scholars Program. You can see the different levels on here. They are renewable with a 2.5 GPA. You do have to live on campus for the first 2 years. They're renewable for 8 semesters, so 4 years. It's based on your GPA and your ACT or SAT score. On this next slide, we have a little matrix that you can take a look at. This is on our website as well, so make sure you take a look on there. So you can look up your GPA and your ACT, SAT score and see kind of how close you are to getting the next level up maybe. That's kind of why I think it's helpful. So we'll take updated test scores all the way up until you start classes here. So if you see that you're on the fence between silver and gold and you're only maybe 1 ACT point away from that gold level, maybe retaking the ACT might be a good idea since these scholarships are locked in for 4 years. So you want to try to get the highest one that you can when you're incoming. Yeah, I think I covered everything on that. We have another one for the non-residents. So here we have our non-Michigan resident levels. They're a little bit higher than our Michigan levels to kind of be more proportional with the tuition. So same with these, renewable with a 2.5 and living on campus for 2 years, renewable for 4 years, 8 semesters. These scholarships, the National Scholars and the Presidential, you're automatically considered for based on your admissions application. So if you've already applied and been accepted, you might have even already gotten a letter about these. You'll get a letter congratulating you on these scholarships. And then if you fill out the FAFSA we'll talk about, you'll get a financial aid award letter in addition to that. So here's the different levels. And then on this, we have the matrix for you to kind of see where those levels fall with the ACT, SAT. We also have, let's see, we're going to talk about it in a little bit, but we also have a net price calculator that you can use where you can just type in your test scores and your GPA and it'll tell you which level you fall under. So you could always use that option as well. So take a look on our website for these matrix. And then a few different merit-based financial aid options. So we already went over the Presidential and the National. Those were the 2 we just covered. The Alumni Legacy Award is for our non-residents that have a parent or grandparent that graduated from Michigan Tech. So they're eligible to receive in-state tuition, which is a pretty great value. We have our Military Family Education Award, and then we have various sponsored scholarships. So we have over 500 sponsored scholarships available. Most of them don't require applications. Most of them you're automatically considered for based on your merit, some of them based on your financial need, some of them based on where you're coming from, your hometown, different things like that, your major. We have a few that have applications. I would take a look on our website. If you go to the financial aid section under scholarships, you'll see sponsored scholarships. If you click on that, you'll see a few scholarships that require applications. They're fairly specific, so just make sure that you read through those and see if you're eligible for any of those. And sponsored scholarships could show up on your account at any time. So if they're not there the first year, they could show up, you know, once you're a junior and you're in your department. Some of them are departmental, so there's a bunch of different options there for you. So this is the net price calculator I was telling you about. So this is kind of the first part of the calculator. You can see it says scholarship at the top. So if you fill this out, it'll tell you which one of those national or presidential scholarships that you might be eligible for. And then if you go to the next part where it says financial information, you can put in some results from your FAFSA, and you can kind of find out a little bit sooner what you might be looking at. Everything on there is estimated. The first section with the merit scholarships is really accurate. The second part with the financial information is a lot more estimated. So just kind of take that with a grain of salt. Once you get your actual award letter, it'll give you kind of a better idea of what you'll actually be looking at, but this will give you an idea. We also have our cost of attendance calculator that you can use to determine what the tuition might be. Right now, it'll be showing our tuition for this current 2018 to 2019 school year. So just keep that in mind. But you can see on there kind of how the different majors work, whether you're under 60 credits, over 60 credits. So I urge you to go on there and kind of play around with that to see different scenarios. Once you get your award letter, it will have our estimated cost of attendance for next year, so that'll give you a good idea as well. So by filing the FAFSA, you'll be automatically eligible for $5,500 in federal student loans. You can see here that it's separated between subsidized and unsubsidized, so those first two bullet points right there. The subsidized loans require financial need. Those ones, the interest won't accrue while you're taking classes. So if you take out $3,000 your first year, it'll be $3,000 once you're graduating, and then the interest will add up once you're done with school. But at least while you're in school, you're kind of saving yourself a little money that way. The unsubsidized loan, the interest will accrue while you're in school. It's not required that you pay on it. Neither of these loans require payment while you're in school, but it's just something to keep in mind that it will be adding up. Payment for both of these begins 6 months after you're less than part-time, ideally 6 months after you're graduated, so kind of some time to get you on your feet. The federal loans can be a really good option for students because they don't require cosigners, which for the private loans, which we'll talk about next, those ones can kind of be difficult for students to get cosigners for. The interest rates that you're seeing on here right now are for the current school year, so we should get the updated ones. I think those come out around May, so we should get those updated ones. Usually they're not too different, but they might be a little bit different for next year. There are some additional steps you'll need to take to accept your federal loans. So any scholarships that you're getting, those usually just get automatically accepted and put on your account. But the federal loans is up to you and your family to discuss that option. And if you do want to accept those, there's a few extra steps you'll need to do. So keep an eye out on your financial aid award letter. It'll have directions on how to accept those. And then we have the Parent Plus loan, which is kind of an option in addition to the direct federal loans. So since students are limited to $5,500 in their federal loans, which it will increase a little bit each year, the Parent Plus loan is kind of to help cover the gap that your federal loans aren't covering. So 7.595%. The Parent Plus loan, biggest things to know are that it's in the parent's name, so they're the ones liable to pay it back. You can defer payment until the student's done with school. Usually you can take out enough in this one to cover your full cost of attendance, so usually even additional things like your books or your lab fees or different things like that. The application for the Parent Plus loan is on a federal website. We have it linked on our website for you. You can click on that and just fill out the application online. For next year, 2019 to 2020, it'll open up on May 1st. So you won't be able to apply for that one until May 1st, but just keep an eye on that one. Otherwise, if you're not interested in the Parent Plus loan, maybe the parent wants the student's name on there as well, you could do a private loan or an alternative loan. So we definitely urge you to utilize at least the student's federal direct loans first. They usually have lower interest rates, as well as really good income-based repayment plans for once you're done with school, so kind of more options there. But if you would like after that, you could go with a private loan, or you could go with a private loan just to cover the balance if you'd like. They can really vary. The biggest things to just keep an eye on are whether they require a cosigner, how much can you take out, when does repayment begin, so is it right away? Usually it's when you're done with school, but you want to double check that. Any fees, maybe origination fees or loan fees or anything like that. And then interest rates, definitely check if they're fixed or variable. So are they going to change or is it set in stone? So a lot of different things to consider. I would also mention for the private or alternative loans, you want to start looking at those a little bit earlier. So those can take about 3 to 4 weeks to process because there's a lot of communication that has to go back between our office and the private company. So definitely look a little bit earlier for those. I was going to say something else, I forgot. I think we're good on private loans. Oh yeah, on our website, I was gonna say, we have a link you can use to compare different lenders. So if you're not sure where to start, you could always talk to your local bank or credit union about options. But if you're not sure where to start, we do have a link on our website. If you look up just that link right there on the bottom of the screen, it's called Elm Select, and you can take a look at different options available on there, as well as kind of easily compare different companies. So other scholarship resources. So sometimes loans are essential for you to be able to pay your bill, but if possible, definitely go with scholarships because you don't have to pay those back. People want to invest in your education, in your future. You're going to better the world and the community, so they want to help you do that. So there's a lot of different local community and organizations, different employers of your parents, maybe even yourself. I know like Taco Bell and McDonald's have different scholarships that they give out, religious organizations, community organizations. There's a lot of different options out there. I'm sure you've been talking with your guidance counselors, hopefully, about different options at your high school as well. And then the bottom 4 bullet points are links to kind of outside scholarships that are available. So fastweb.com, College Board, those are national scholarship search sites that you can use. There are a lot of options out there. I would just take a look through and see if you're eligible for any of those. It can take a while to apply for them, but a lot of those smaller scholarships can really add up. I know there's a lot of $500 scholarships out there that maybe not so many people apply for, and most of them go for like the $5,000 ones, but there's less competition maybe for the 500 ones, and add up 10 of those and you'll be in good shape. So just some different options here. Take a look around. On our website, we have a blog where we post additional scholarship opportunities from outside companies that email us. So just start looking everywhere that you can for these opportunities. And then just some important dates. Some of these we've already passed. If you're watching this as like a junior in high school, keep an eye on these dates for the future. When you're a senior, maybe you're a sophomore and you're looking extra early, keep an eye on once you're a senior at the different dates. So right now, if you're a senior, really the important date would be our Visual and Performing Arts Talent Award, March 14th. We have an audition that you can do on campus. We also take video auditions if you register online to submit that. So if you're not able to make it to campus, we do take video auditions as well. So what happens next? So we talked about filing the FAFSA, talked about your merit awards that you might have already gotten a letter congratulating you on. So if you haven't filled out the FAFSA, that's your next step. After you complete it, you'll get your student aid report emailed to you. It's just going to have information of what you put on the FAFSA. It'll have that final EFC number, which is your expected family contribution. It's not usually how much families contribute. It's not your bill for going to school. Really, we use it more as an index number for to determine your financial need. So we compare the EFC to our cost of attendance to see kind of where you fall on that financial needs spectrum. So really, it's more of a tool for us to use to determine financial need. So any colleges listed on your FAFSA will receive your results. If you forgot to add Michigan Tech, don't worry, you can go back onto your FAFSA, go to make a correction, and you can resubmit it with Michigan Tech on there. Merit-based scholarships were sent mid-November. If you are applying now or in the future, you'll just get that roughly about 2 weeks after you get accepted. And then we're going to start sending financial aid award letters, hopefully late December. It might be looking like early January, but we're going to get those out to you at least by mid-January. So the financial aid award letter will have a lot of information on there. You'll see the loans that you'll be offered, your merit scholarships, and then any need-based aid that you might be eligible for. We will be doing another webcast kind of explaining the award letter in detail. So definitely keep an eye out if you wanted to see that, kind of an example of a financial aid award letter. Another thing to keep an eye on that's not listed here is if you get a letter from us about verifying your FAFSA. I won't go into too much detail, just make sure you read it because it's an important letter. You can call our office if you have any questions about anything we're asking for. It's mostly just to verify that your FAFSA is filled out correctly. So if you get letters from us, please open them up and read them, and then contact us if you have questions. So we're done with our official presentation now. We could take any questions that you might have. We're going to pull up our chat box here. And like I said, this will be recorded, so if you ever wanted to click back and take a look, you can. We're trying to find the chat box. Hang on. Oh, there we go. We found it. So if you have any questions, we'll give you a few minutes to type them in there. Otherwise, our office is open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So you can always give us a call there if you have specific questions. But we'll just wait a little bit and see if anyone has any questions. Wait a few more minutes. Maybe someone's typing a really long one. All right, so we have one question on here. It says, if we have already received the merit scholarship, if your GPA increases, how can I reapply, or is it automatic? So if you've already received a letter congratulating you on one of our merit-based national or presidential scholarships, you will be automatically considered for the, if you update your GPA or your ACT, SAT scores, just make sure that we get those updates. So send us your updated transcript, send us your test scores, and then we'll automatically consider you for the higher level. If you use that net price calculator or that matrix and you see you should be getting the higher one, just wait a few weeks, it should update automatically. Otherwise, you can give our office a call just to make sure that we got your updated test scores and that they're in the system. But it will happen automatically, so you won't need to reapply for those or anything. All right, so regarding one of our merit scholarships, so the presidential and the national scholarships, what happens if the student's GPA drops while they're at Michigan Tech? So it's renewable with a 2.5 GPA. If the student falls below that, it will be taken off of their account. But if they can bring their GPA back up to a 2.5, they can request it to be reinstated. So definitely, it won't be lost forever. Hopefully you can bring your GPA back up and have it reinstated. Just reach out to our office because that won't be automatic. This is a similar question to the first. Okay, so a similar question to our first one. If there's an update in your ACT, SAT, or GPA, can it be increased? Is that what it's asking? Yep, so you can retake the ACT or SAT or increase that GPA if you can. I know that one's a little bit more difficult than taking the tests again, but definitely retake your ACT or SAT if you see that you're on the line towards getting a higher level scholarship. We'll always take your highest test score, so don't worry if you do worse or something, we'll always take the highest one that we receive. You have up until you start classes here to submit those scores, so even if you've already gotten a letter saying you got one award, you could still be bumped up to another one. So definitely retake those if you're on the fence. So what is the maximum loan per year for the student? So for the federal direct loans, those subsidized and unsubsidized, an incoming first-year student can get up to $5,500 for the full year. Once they're a sophomore and they refile the FAFSA, they'll be eligible for $6,500, and then third year and beyond, they'll be eligible for $7,500. And these are the dependent undergraduate amounts. So if you might be an independent student, those amounts could be a little different. So take a look on our website. But in general, most coming in students are dependent undergraduate. So for the first year, $5,500 would be the max on the federal direct loans. And when you get your award letter, you'll see the full amount, and then you'll see it broken up by semester, so half of that each semester. We'll just wait a little bit, see if we have any follow-up questions on any of those. All right, so we have a question on using the IRS data retrieval tool. So if you're eligible to use it, it should pop up before you're filling out your financial information section. Some people aren't eligible to use it. So if maybe, so the FAFSA for next year is going off of 2017 taxes. So if, for example, your parents were married at that time and now they're divorced, it won't be an option for you. So you won't see that IRS data retrieval tool on there. So sometimes that can happen where you're not eligible for it, but otherwise it should show up on there. There are videos. We used to have one on our website, but if you look it up on YouTube, you can see videos on how to use the IRS data retrieval tool. We have some directions on our website as well that you could use. If you're not seeing it when you're filling it out, I would just fill it out manually. It'll be a little more kind of tedious. You'll have to look at your tax return and fill it out, but as long as the information gets on there, that's what matters. All right, so where do I look to see what I qualify for on the FAFSA? So when you get your student aid report, which you should be able to just search your email or the student's email, see if it's in there, that should tell you kind of a preliminary what you might be eligible for. So if you're in Pell Grant range, you'll see it on there. If you're eligible for work study, the best way to see what we qualify for is to get that award letter from us. So you'll get that in January, and then you'll see your loan options. If you're eligible for the Pell Grant, you'll see it on there. So after you fill out the FAFSA, they'll kind of tell you what you might be eligible for, but you won't know for sure until you get the financial aid award letters from universities. Have notifications of merit awards already been sent out? So our first round of those did already go out for students that have been accepted. And then after that, we do them on a rolling basis. So if you haven't received yours yet, I would say give it, is it 2 weeks or 1 week? About 2 weeks. Okay, so give it about 2 weeks and you should get that in the mail. And then those are kind of just going to be rolling as our admissions is. The merit scholarships will also show up on your financial aid award letter, which if you filed your FAFSA by the end of November, you'll be in the first batch that we send out in January. Like I said, hopefully January, hopefully December, but maybe January. And you'll see the merit scholarship on there as well. So I'm not seeing any more questions coming in. We'll stall it out a little bit longer in case someone's still typing a long one. Keep an eye out though for our future webcasts that we'll be doing. Like I said, we'll be doing the one on understanding your financial aid award letters, so it'll kind of go through that for you. As well as please give our office a call, ask for Emily. I'll help you out, no problem. So I think we're good to go then. Have a great night. Thank you for joining us.